Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Princess Interrupted, the podcast. I'm your host, Allison Ziegler, and today we're talking about the topic, is your twin flame actually your spirit guide? My twin flame experience started back in 2018, and I've created a free guide if you're in the process of healing your twin flame wounding. A lot of times the twin flame relationship is created by a dynamic that's been unhealthy for a long time. Maybe this presents itself where it feels like there's this really deep spiritual connection and it feels impossible to replicate these feelings for anybody else. So these are three different scenarios that may be going through your head with your twin flame experience. Number one, you may have elements of heartbreak associated when you think about your twin flame. Or they maybe are dating someone else. You really want to manifest this person back, or maybe you've tried to manifest this person back and nothing's really worked and you're kind of like, okay, am I doing this wrong? Number two, you're in a place where I want to move on with literally anybody else. I just want to get rid of these feelings. They're so inconvenient. They're blocking the love that I want to call in. And number three, which is where you ultimately want to go, is just pure acceptance and love for this other person, regardless on the role that they currently play in your life. A healed perspective of the relationship where you just accept things as they are. I'm not going to get on here and say this is how to manifest your twin flame back, because that's not what I believe the mission of the twin flame experience is. I think that this is a spiritual connection that can really serve you in cultivating growth. And I think that it can help you heal on deeper levels that would not be available to you. This relationship also can come with a tremendous amount of pain, which when you alchemize can be turned into a tremendous amount of self-love. Once you alchemize this relationship, I truly believe that you open yourself up to be available for even deeper amounts of love that otherwise wouldn't have been available if you didn't heal from this experience. That is my current view of what I believe the twin flame journey is here to be. If you're interested in diving into the details, please subscribe to my book on Substack, Princess Interrupted. It's detailed, and if you've experienced anything like this, I hope that my story can help you in your journey. I experienced channeling, and messages were coming to me through telepathy, which to me, telepathy felt like thoughts that I knew that weren't mine. It was like an energetic communication. Other things that were happening were like synchronicities in my external reality. I would see a lot of numbers that related to my twin flame, or I would see coincidences that were through the roof. It was so next level. I was interpreting these signs through the perspective of wanting to call this person into my life. This is a sign we're getting back together. This is a sign he's thinking about me. This is a sign that he's changing his reality to be with me. But that wasn't the case. I had so much unhealed heartbreak towards this person. And so this physical manifestation helped me to heal the remaining parts of my heartbreak. But at first I was really attached to the symbols and the meanings. And I just ultimately wanted this person back in my life because that's what I viewed as the solution. I didn't view the solution as moving on from this person. I viewed the solution as getting this person in my life as my divine counterpart on earth. Sharing my perspective during this time, I had greatly romanticized what it meant to be in a relationship. And when I learned about the twin flame experience, this was something for me to focus on. And that was how my personal development started, was this twin flame journey of manifesting this person back. But I couldn't manifest this person back. And beyond that, I couldn't manifest a relationship. When I did manifest relationships, they would last for 3 months or so. That was like the cap. And then something would happen. The person would move away or whatever reason the relationship would end. It wasn't until I stopped trying to manifest relationships at all that I got to a better place within myself and that I actually was able to finally heal my heart. I had to get to a point where my priority was feeling good above manifesting this person. And I also got to a place of surrender with the universe where I handed it over to God because I said, clearly, if there was a way I could have forced this, it would have happened. So I'm going to trust this over to a higher power. So that was a decision that I made on my journey because it was something that I had put so much conscious energy into trying to make happen that wasn't happening. And it felt like this is not something that feels good to me. I'm going to trust that there's something else going on here. And so I released that. There was a place in my dating journey where it no longer felt like my goal was to manifest my twin flame, but my goal was to manifest someone. It was like, okay, if I can't be with my twin flame, I want to manifest someone. I also thought that healing was going to happen through another relationship. That was ultimately not the case. For a long time, I held on to this connection in secret. I don't think that the relationship itself is shameful. What needs to be changed is not the relationship. What needs to be changed is our attachment to the relationship in the 3D and what we make the symbols mean. So I do believe that your twin flame is a spirit guide. There's two terms that I have said a few times in these podcasts, 3D and 5D. It's third dimension and fifth dimension. So the third dimension is your waking, everyday, conscious reality that we're here in right now. 3D is this physical experience of your soul in human form. The fourth dimension is love. The fourth dimension is like an understanding that we're all connected. And it's this higher level of consciousness where you're no longer just worried about what you're physically seeing. You're tapped into something bigger than yourself. And the fifth dimension takes this a step further, and it's almost transcending your physical experience. So your soul is so much bigger than just your physical body. And your physical experiences are only one part of your human existence. In spiritual terms, you are a soul having a human experience. And so when you start thinking about these higher realms, partially this is the unseen connection to the universe and other forces. This can be related to past lives, but the fifth dimension is where you start having telepathy. But once I started connecting to the fifth dimension, I started to get messages and synchronicities that felt like they were coming from my twin flame. So the goal of this, again, isn't to master this. I help you upgrade your self-worth and your self-image so that you can attract the love and the life that you desire. My goal for you is to get out of being attached to the outcome of manifesting a relationship to your twin flame and turning your power so that you manifest from your heart and your soul and you attract aligned opportunities. We also increase your point of attraction so that you can call the things into your life that are important to you and you can live a life that's fulfilled and authentic and honest and fully self-expressed. I don't think a fully expressed life is sitting in your journal trying to manifest another person. So releasing the attachments and the judgments, like if that's what you're doing, but I want to help create a desire to do something more empowered with your life force energy. The twin flame attachment will keep you stuck if you let it. This isn't to say that you can't manifest another person. This has nothing to do with the other person. This has to do with where you're putting your conscious energy and how you're showing up in the world. With spiritual work, we're taking the focus away from just what we see and opening up to what is possible and learning to trust your intuition so that you can take bigger actions than you've taken in the past. If you have a connection to a twin flame, you probably have synchronicities that come through, even if you decide you no longer want them to. As the consciousness of the planet rises, these experiences are going to happen more frequently. Don't judge yourself for what you're experiencing now, because what's happening now might one day become normal. There was a time where cell phones didn't even exist. There was a time where people had to mail physical letters, but now we have Wi-Fi. Now everything's digital. Telepathy to me is that sensation of when you're thinking about a person and then they call you. This interconnected communication. But with spirit guides, the way that I think about them is that they are guides who are not in the physical 3D realm in your reality and receiving messages and guidance and support. This can be looking externally for signs and seeing 1111 or seeing signs from your spirit guides. The communication came through and it was from my twin flame and it said a blue parakeet will be my sign to you. And he basically said, just keep working on your book. This is the journal that I have been using. It is literally a tree of parakeets. I had no idea that I even wrote this. I didn't even remember it. That's so weird. In the past, I would have made that mean, oh my God, we're destined to be together. Things are happening. Now this happens and I'm kind of like, that's so weird. In my journal today, I said, apparently 1 year ago, I wrote a blue parakeet was my symbol to myself for my twin flame. And I've been avoiding writing like the plague. And I wrote today and I just wrote everything that was coming up. And I processed a lot actually and let go of a lot. And then I wrote, is your twin flame a spirit guide? And that was how I came up with the theme for today's episode. Is your twin flame a spirit guide? A spirit guide is, in my opinion, support from a higher realm or a different dimension to support your mission on Earth. Telepathy is one of the ways that this can come through. This can also come through symbols. This can come through dreams. But one of the things that I really want to highlight and call out that I used to do, that I would like to share my wisdom as to why it was a mistake, is I used to write for reassurances. I would try to connect to spirit guides, like my grandmother's a spirit guide, and channeling is essentially when you write something or speak something and you know that it's not just you consciously creating it. It feels like it's coming from something bigger. You can channel anything. You can channel messages when you sit. Whenever I'm doing energy healings, I'll channel messages. If I'm connected to somebody's energy and I'm reading tarot or something like that, I will channel energy. Well, I'll know the difference where I'll say, this isn't me saying this. This is a message from somewhere else. And you can just feel the difference. And as you practice this, it becomes more second nature and easier. You will know if you experience it. It's a skill that you can cultivate. And if you're energetically susceptible, you probably have this skill. If you're any sort of creative, you likely have this skill as well. You can channel works from a different power. I think about this example where Michael Jackson used to get up in the middle of the night to record his songs because he was scared that if he didn't, God would give the idea to Prince. And this is an example that's in creativity, but these ideas on these different realms are desiring to flow through and to be created and brought into the 3D realm. So when you have these ideas and you act on them, you are making them reality. You are manifesting them, and you'll continue to get more ideas. For example, when I write my book, Princess Interrupted, I work with a spirit guide and his name is Leaf, Leif. I came to this conclusion, again, through a Gabby Bernstein meditation. Leaf communicates to me in green pen. And I know that he's a spirit guide because I'll sit and I won't want to write the book, and then I'll connect to Leaf and I'll just type something like, Leaf, please flow through me, and he will help me write the book. I also rely on my twin flame to help me write the book because part of what I'm writing in the book was this experience that happened where I felt like I was channeling my twin flame. I still have processing around what I truly believe happened, and through the process of writing this book, I'm healing the experience, and I'm a different person as a result of undergoing this experience. Here's 3 signs that your twin flame is your spirit guide. Number 1, you start to receive messages that you know are from this other person. This isn't an indicator that they're meant to be with you forever or that they're coming back into your life. This is an indicator that they're here to support you and they're encouraging you on in your journey, and that it's okay to think of this person favorably. It reminds me of a connection with somebody who's passed, who's crossed over to the other side, and who you can still communicate with, or you'll receive little letters or symbols or things like this. Like you'll receive little signs. Like when I see a cardinal, I think of my grandmother. Similarly, there are little signs and synchronicities that remind me of my twin flame. They don't make logical sense, but when I see them, I'm like, okay, that's a sign from my twin flame. Like certain letters or certain combinations, like things that cannot be explained. And like a license plate saying something that's so next level, that's like so related to my thoughts, not even things that I'm saying out loud, like like a manifestation of something so deep. Number 2, you'll probably be having dreams about this person. I don't dream about my twin flame anymore, but I used to have dreams about him basically every single night. He was so like wrapped up in my consciousness. The 3rd sign is that you feel inspired to create art as a result of your connection with this other person. In effect, they're your muse. They're a source of divine inspiration. This doesn't mean that you need to manifest a relationship with this person. What happened in your soul agreement could be what was meant to happen, and it's safe to let that go. But stop trying to predict the outcome of your life and get clear on what you want aside from what this other person represents. Now, if I receive messages about my twin flame, I don't make it mean that he's meant to be something other than he's not, because I don't believe in manifesting a specific person. I believe that you can put out what you want to receive, and life will mirror that back to you when you are an energetic match for it. But I believe it's really disempowered to sit here and use your divine life source energy to call a person into your life because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust the universe is effectively what that's saying, because you're saying this one person is the only person on planet Earth who is right for me. And that's so sad, because you could sit there and 30 years from now, they could be married to somebody else and you could have wasted your life and look back and know that instead of letting this be a divine connection that you use to inspire others, inspire yourself, create art, serve as a spirit guide, you let it mean something that it didn't need to, and you will regret that if you don't heal from this connection. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because I stayed in that place longer than I needed to, and I wish I would have had a resource like myself to break down these concepts and to help me heal from this in a healthy way. That's my intention for you, is to help you reclaim your power after an experience like this. It's going to be part of your story. It's going to be part of what makes you who you're meant to be on this planet. And you don't need to have shame around what happened or wish that things were differently or replay conversations. That's a waste of the energy, and that's not what the connection's here to be. You can still receive inspiration from this person and create art and kind of immortalize the connection through your contributions. And I also want to say that it's okay if this person is still someone who's special to you, if it is still someone who you communicate with a spirit guide. That doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make you crazy. It just means that this person was really special to you, and that's a beautiful thing. Instead of thinking about your twin flame as this divine counterpart that you need to manifest back, otherwise you're never going to find that level of love, think about them as a spirit guide who's cheering you on and wants to see you succeed and actually wants the best for you. I'm not talking about imagining the 3D version of this person cheering you on. I'm talking about whatever that sense of divine love was that you felt in the connection that led you to watching a twin flame video and saying, this is my twin flame. That connection, letting that version of your twin flame cheer you on. Because the twin flame exists in the 5D. And so many people talk about union being like coming together in the 3D. And maybe, but I don't think that's the goal of this connection. I think the goal of this connection is to channel that divine love and use that energy to create things that are bigger than you. That's how I'm choosing to use it. And as far as a relationship goes, yeah, a relationship is going to be one of the best parts of my entire life. But that is the intention I've set with the universe. And I'm no longer idealizing it. It's going to be the best because it's going to be so enriching. It's going to be a deep connection, a deep opportunity to know another person, to love fully and to be loved. But until you let go of the illusions of this perfect person counterpart who completes you and wants you undergo these challenges, you're forever together, you're not going to attract that. You attract it through loving yourself unconditionally, because in order to be loved, you need to love you. And the reason that's true is because if you are ashamed of your past, ashamed of decisions that you've had to make, you can't fully own all of you. How are you going to let another person love you? If you're hiding these parts from yourself, if you're judging yourself, you're not going to let yourself be fully seen. Relationships are soul assignments, and they're opportunities to grow into the best version of yourself. Healing from the twin flame journey is ultimately how you get there in the now. The first step to healing is switching your perspective from trying to manifest this person to healing the parts of you that still feel broken in this connection, and then channeling this divine source energy into your creation and your purpose. That's the piece that I have not seen anybody talk about. That's where I think it all comes back to. That is today's podcast episode on Princess Interrupted. I love you so freaking much. I have a free guide, a twin flame healing guide. Please check it out. This guide will help you immediately start moving energy in the connection. I also included a cord cutting meditation as part of the download. And I'm going to be hosting a workshop on twin flame healing. It's going to be called Love Alchemy, and it's going to be happening in February. Make sure you download the guide for details. And if you're interested in working together one-on-one, you're listening and you're like, I resonate with what you're saying and I really want to go deeper, I am currently accepting one-on-one clients, and I have special offers specifically for people who are on the twin flame journey and are looking to heal. Please set up a call with me for 15 minutes to get more information and details, and we will help you shift this energy and get into a place where you can heal and move on. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me today.